So I know this isn't quite right, but I have to say this. Good morning, Baltimore. That's for
Good
all you
morning,
Hairspray fans.
Belfast.
Hi,
No, good
Connie.
evening, Belfast.
Okay, right. Take it away.
Okay. On one of the otherwise indistinguishable work from home days this month, I sat transfixed by an image on my computer of a 13-year-old boy in a hospital bed, tubes and bandages all over and around him, about as effectively neutralized as one can be while still alive. The article that accompanied the picture said that he was autistic, lived in Salt Lake City, Utah, and had been shot multiple times by the police, whom his mother had called for help. He had a behavioral outburst because his mom went to work that day for the first time in a year, and he'd reacted to the change in his routine. She needed assistance in getting him safely to a hospital. He did not have a weapon and was shot as he ran away from the officers while they told him to lie down. I read Mom's anguished statements and looked at the picture again, unable to pull away and concentrate on my work. My blood pressure rose and the heavyweight boxer in my nervous system jumped right into the ring, daring a non-existent crowd to come in for a round or two. I posted the article everywhere, called a secretary of the mayor of Salt Lake City and told her the country was watching, donated to the boy's family, then went back online again to ask everyone I know to do the same. This is not because I am some great activist against our scourge of police brutality, although I wish I were. Truth be told, I was in the ring because at that moment, in my mind, I was the boy's mother. 3 years ago, my then 14-year-old son and I drove my daughter to choir class in the quiet county seat of our suburban area outside of Baltimore, Maryland. Nick has autism and epilepsy. It was a mild fall evening. I pulled over to the curb to let my daughter out, and as I was about to pull off, I heard the whoop whoop of a police car right behind me, and I stopped. I explained to my son that this must be a traffic stop, that it would be okay. The officer would just give us a ticket for something, and then we would go home. I asked him to be quiet and still. At first, it is just one officer, which is unusual, and she is in her 20s, blonde, stereotypically pretty. She looks like a rookie in a TV cop show, the one whom none of the force accepts until she shoots a bad guy. If that's what this officer is going through, she is definitely overcompensating. I lower my window to greet her, and she yells at me that my license plate tags have expired. Then she yells at me about the way I pulled over and the way I'm parked. She yells like we are on opposite ends of a football field. During the tirade, a second police car pulls behind hers, and a male officer comes to stand outside the passenger side of the car. Many people with autism have difficulty tolerating loud noise, never mind tense and enclosing social situations. I can feel Nick's anxiety rising, and I tried to reassure him under my breath, but as sure as if we were one being, I know what's going to happen next. Nick hits his limit and opens his car door, suddenly jumping out. Both officers start shouting for him to get back in the car. I begin screaming that he is autistic and does not understand them. Over my pleas, the rookie orders me out of the car and pushes me up against it, face down, arms and legs splayed apart. I can't really see Nick, but I'm aware from their shouting that he is pacing around the car, including in the street, and ignoring their orders. By this time, I am wailing, begging them not to hurt him because he's autistic and doesn't understand them, over and over, a mantra of hysterical fear. I become dimly aware that a third police car has arrived, and I howl against what I am sure is coming, when they will together wrestle Nick down to the ground or zap him with a taser. Instead, there is sudden quiet. And only then do I realize that Nick is standing behind me, patting me on the shoulder. A calming male voice that I can't see says gently, "You're taking good care of your mom." He's a middle-aged supervisor, and he has sent the rookie and her partner to their vehicles. He asks Nick and I to get back in our car, which somehow, under the spell of his magical serenity, happens easily. We all sit there for what seems like a very long time. Although the danger is mostly past, my nervous system feels those parked police cars as if they were driving up and down my spinal cord, and I continue to weep uncontrollably. The rookie comes to my window and, in the only tone of voice she seems to know, yells some continuation of the traffic stop into my ear, and I bawl. I can't stop no matter what good it would do me. Frustrated, she goes to get the other two, and they explain to me that I can no longer use the car and they will drive us home or call someone, or what do I want to do? I can only shake my head and sob. The rookie suggests to them that they call Child Protective Services to come get my son, and once he's gone, they can turn me out in the street. At that, the supervisor seems to give up on the younger officers, and he tells them to leave. Once they have driven off, we really are safe. But I'm aware enough to know that I will not be able to stabilize my nerves until out of the presence of any police, no matter how kind. Why can't I take charge of myself? Is it because of the violence in my marriage? Is it because I had another scare with the police over that matter? Nick is having seizures regularly, including one just 2 months before that lasted 20 minutes. Increasingly, an animal instinct is replacing my previously healthy sense of self-mastery without permission or contract. There are rivers pouring down my cheeks, and we are stuck because this officer wants to make it right, and I can't right myself until he goes away. I am finally able to communicate that Nick and I will go for a walk to calm down, and he agrees to the plan. He walks with us past the choir building. It occurs to me that none of the parents or staff who sit in the front lobby have been drawn out by the commotion, even though some know us. They left us to our shameful fate over lapsed tags. I feel a jangling ache inside for the nearby city where I grew up, where at the very least you could count on an audience of curious and commenting bystanders for any good drama. There would have been someone around in that city who would have declared it was a scary thing being a mother and it was all right to cry it out. Maybe someone would have called Nick a beautiful child of God. Here, we don't belong here. I hold Nick's hand and we head towards the nearby park, which involves crossing a busy road. The officer stops traffic going both ways so we can cross, and I'm reminded of a book I loved as a child called Make Way for Ducklings, in which a rotund and benevolent policeman stops traffic in downtown Boston to allow a proud mother duck and her babies to get safely to the pond in Boston Gardens. It is hard to know or measure what this man has saved us from, and his quiet decency is as idyllic and reassuring as that of a storybook character. He gave us back our humanity. But for some reason, I cannot speak to him or speak at all. I am only able to muster a nod of thanks. I'm afraid he will follow us to the park, but after helping us cross, he leaves, and we sit at a picnic table while I continue to cry. At this point, eons into the ordeal. Nick rationally insists that it is over now, Mommy, and I don't need to be sad anymore. My parental role has dissolved in an acid bath of panic. I shame wonder if his neurodiversity has protected him from fear, or if he is just taking care of this infantilized woman I have become. I rest my face on the cool picnic table and slowly feel the panic start to drain out of my nervous system. My child has escaped unhurt, but this release is not about a realization or thought process, because those aren't really present yet. It's rather a physical sensation of coming back into myself, having myself return to me. I breathe as if recovering from a race, and the tears slow down of their own accord.
Oh, Connie, that is an amazing, amazing, horrifying story, but brilliant, and thank you so much for telling it. We have a photo of Nick. Patrick's going to do the honors, I believe. Oh,
that's just
oh, there we are.
Just to
there
prove that he got through the ordeal just fine.
What age is he now, Connie?
He is now 17.
Right.
And that's us picking strawberries. And I think that if I'm ever able to put in another story to 10 by 9, I will try to not make it horrifying. Because that has been the adjective for my last two. So
yeah,
maybe something a little more cheerful.
No, well, we love the variety and we love the power and the emotion of that story. And I know when we're telling our stories, we can't really see the audience reaction, but believe me, the audience reaction was quite incredible. There was no one who wasn't listening to every single word.
Well, thank you so much for this venue.
Oh, you are one of the joys of lockdown for me. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.